Your message, your outreach message. How can you craft a message that grabs prospects' attention? Well, today you're going to find out. Yeah, we're going to give you the secrets. Exactly what you need to know. Hey everyone, welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, I have an entrepreneur, I have an author, a speaker. His name is Cody Butler, and Cody has written a book called The 90-Day Marketing Plan. He knows a thing or two when it comes towards marketing and crafting effective messages that grabs your prospects' attention. We actually had some fun with this episode, and I know you're going to really enjoy it. I won't take up much more time. I want to go straight into it so we can get to this content and help you craft some effective outreach messages. Let's do it. Welcome to the show, Cody.
Hey, how's it going, Don? Thanks for having me.
I can't complain. Another day in paradise. I'm excited to have you. I'm grateful for you being here and for being willing to give us some wisdom today as we talk about creating that amazing sales outreach message. But before we dive into all the fun stuff, Cody, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and what you do, man?
Okay, so I'm a marketing coach, marketing consultant, focused on lead generation, sales. That's what I do. Helping businesses really with the toughest part of business, right? I mean, most business owners get into business because they have something they love, they have something that they're great at, and they think that that's going to be enough to get them across the line. And the reality is that without sales, without marketing, your business pretty much is it's a non-starter, right? The whole build it and they will come philosophy is fatally flawed. So yeah, I like to help people turn their passion into income through adding the missing piece of the puzzle, which is the marketing, sales, income generation, basically.
Well, love it, man, and I'm excited to talk about this because right now, more so than ever, if you don't have an on-point message, you're pretty much like dead in the water. Because the buyers, I feel a lot of buyers are just, and we've talked about this and we've hit on this, everyone listening to this episode, we feel that they're so cautious of the fear of the unknown. Should I spend a dollar in the hand right now, a dollar that I have right now, or hold on to that dollar for the future date? And is it going to be compelling enough? So everything that I spend money on must give me some kind of return. So if you're a sales rep, you're giving me a message, that's got to give some kind of value to my organization or myself. So what do we say? How do we craft a message that's going to be so effective that people are going to say, yes, it's worth my time. I want to be able to talk to this person. Cody, grab my attention. I want to hear what he has to say. So school me, Cody. Lead us. What are some of the mistakes people are making right now? And then maybe you can help us fix that. Does that sound fair enough?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, I think the biggest mistake that people make is a lack of brevity. So you're super busy, I'm super busy, everybody's super busy. And it's not that you don't want something or you wouldn't be interested in something. It's like the message that people send out for the most part is so dense and so hard to get into. Look, I get emails from paying clients. And if it's more than a paragraph, I find it hard to read.
Yes.
and that's people that are paying me. It's like, if it's more than 2 or 3 sentences, if it's more than a paragraph, then I'm skimming it.
Yeah.
So go on, Don.
No, I was going to say, so, keeping it concise and keeping it simple. And yeah. I think one of the things that I think about with messages, email messages, I think about them like conversations. Like people that I'm affiliated with are a lot of people using their phones, their devices to communicate with prospects, right? So if that's the case with my messages, my emails, I'm treating them like text message, not necessarily in the grammatical sense where it's just going to be like, emoji only and stuff like that. But I need to make sure that small and quick response, that if I can explain my point, like you said, brevity in 2 to 3 sentences, who I am and the reason why I'm calling, then yes. That should, if I see that, then I could, or even the reason why I'm reaching out, that should give me the opportunity to say, thanks, Donald, not interested right now, or thanks, yes, well, tell me more. And then let's set up a time to call or talk. You know what I mean? And I think that's where people make the mistake to trying to sell the deal as opposed to sell the appointment.
Exactly right. I mean, even more simpler than that, really. I mean, you've got to understand what is the biggest desire. You've got to tap into an existing desire, right? Like most people try to create a desire in a person's mind. They don't actually tap into an existing desire and provide a solution for that desire instantaneously. So what you need to figure out is what does this person desire the most, and can I offer a risk-free solution in one sentence? So it's like, hey Don, if I could offer you your dream outcome in the next 30 days, 100% risk-free, would you be interested?
Like, shoot, yeah. So let's give an example. Let's just play with this. Sorry about that. Just hit my mic, guys. Let's say I sell. I'm a digital marketing agency, and I help with sales websites and generating social media leads or whatnot.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. How would you craft that to me as a marketing director?
All right. So the email would go something like, or the message would go, hey Don, hope you don't mind me reaching out like this, but quick question for you. If I could show you how to generate, or if I could generate $20,000 of new revenue for you over the next 20 days, or it doesn't cost you a penny, would you be interested? Just let me know.
Yeah, and be like, well, there's a catch, but at least I'll be like, okay, well, there's a catch. Well, what is the catch? But at least I responded. I engaged, right? Or
that's step number one, right? I mean, again, it's like you've got to get the person to engage. It's like
yes.
That's a classic mistake. Is people ask for too much in the first email. It's like we only want. We want two things from the first email, right? We want two things. Those two things are we want the prospect to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested. And the second thing is we want them to say, yes, I'm communicable. I'm willing to communicate with you. Mm. They have to want it and they have to be willing to communicate. If either one of those are missing, it's not a prospect, right? So the purpose of that first message is to get the person to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm a prospect, and yes, I'm willing to communicate with you. That is all you're trying to do with that first message. Nothing more, nothing less.
So what happens after that? If I did say, with this example, let's just keep carrying this example through, digital marketing agent. Let's just say I'm making stuff up. I'm an AC company. I'm in Florida. AC, you can't live without a darn air conditioner. You know about this. You live here in Florida.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're a digital marketing agency, and I want to get these Floridians to search for DKAC to come to us. Yeah. You just said that to me, and now you grabbed my attention. I raised my hand and said, "Yeah, what's the catch? I'm interested in learning more." What would you say next, or how would you guide? What's a second message, or what's a second point, outcome, or a goal of that message?
So the second message, that the goal is overwhelming proof that you hold the solution.
Okay.
So I'm a marketing agency. I've worked with a lot of dentists, for example. Let's go with that because I'm very, very familiar with that. So
I have to go tomorrow, by the way. So. Cleaning time.
Yeah. So or an AC, let's say an AC company, it doesn't matter. So it'd be like, hey Don, thanks for getting back with me. Here's exactly what I can do for you. I can produce you as many leads as you want, or I can produce you whatever desire it is that you're looking for. Here's overwhelming proof that I can do that. So I would provide overwhelming proof, and that's usually going to be a PDF or a video attached that's got testimonials, case studies, stuff like that, something that provides overwhelming proof. And then I would offer a very low key call to action. So it would be like, hey, if you're interested, let me know. We'll book a 5-minute call, see if it's a good fit. If it's not a good fit, if it is a good fit, we'll book a longer call to talk properly. If it's not a good fit, we'll leave the call friends after 5 minutes. Yeah. No problems. So you're giving them a way out. So it's like most people, you see all the time, like get a free 90-minute strategy session valued at $990. It's like valued at, it's like that's fundamentally flawed, because your money, your time is worth nothing to that prospect at this point, and their time is worth a lot. And you flip that around, and now you're trying to tell them that your time is worth $1,000 and their time is worth nothing. It's like, no. Acknowledge that their time is worth something and your time is worth nothing right now.
Yeah.
So, even with the risk reversal on that, it's like, hey, we'll have a 5-minute call. If it's a good fit, we'll book another call. You're giving them a way off the call after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if I get on the phone with this guy, I'm not, I don't want to get on the phone for 90 minutes. I just want to know what it is, what it costs. Is it going to give me the outcome I'm looking for? And if it's not, I want to get off that call as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Because it gives them straight to it gives you the out. And one of the things I've come to learn, and I preach all the time, is that in sales, our job is to mitigate risk.
Mitigate risk. Absolutely.
It is, because there's so many so much competition these days, so many people that are doing the same exact thing. And who's to say if I go with this person that it's going to be wrong for my business in the end, as opposed to this one? And I don't want to make the wrong decision, much less I don't even know right now if I really need this right now. But if you can mitigate the risk and just take me one step at a time through that,
Yep.
that's going to help me to say, all right, well, clearly this guide is a professional guide. They're not just taking me for the first time touring France. They've been tour, they can take me to safe parts and take me all around the city, and I can trust them with Paris. I guess if you would say that.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, I mean, it's like talking about sales. I mean, people think like, there are dozens and dozens of objections and you've got to practice working on it. There are only 2 objections out there. There are only 2 reasons somebody would not buy from you, assuming that I'm speaking to a prospect. So we were on a podcast. So let's say you sell time on your podcast, right? So it's like you charge $5,000 for appearance on your podcast. Let's just say as an example, it's like if I come to you and I say, hey, I'll book people on your podcast that are paying $5,000 each, and that's only going to cost you $3,000 a month. There's a lot of risk there, right?
Yeah.
So there's only 2 reasons you wouldn't want that. The first reason is you don't believe me. The second reason is there's too much risk. Those are the only 2 real objections. You don't believe what I'm saying is true. The second objection is there's too much risk involved. So if I offer you your desired outcome,
get a guest on my podcast that's paying $5,000.
Yeah. If I offer you that desired outcome, and the cost of that is less than the outcome that you're going to get, there's only 2 reasons you wouldn't take that. If I said, hey, I'll charge you $2,500, but you got to pay up front, but you're going to get $5,000 gifts. There's only 2 reasons you wouldn't do that. Why wouldn't you pay $2,500 to get a $5,000 return? You would. The only 2 reasons is you don't believe me, you don't believe I'm going to get the result, or there is too much risk. So in all of your communications, you're looking at really mitigating those 2 factors. So you can believe that I'm going to get you the outcome that you want. You can believe that I have the ability to do that, but if there's too much risk, you're not going to move forward.
Yeah, and what I think really gives that too is when people, like, if you gave me a social proof at that point, you showed other people who are doing the same exact thing, and then you bring down the barrier. You can say, I'm going to give you some potential, show you some potential people, show me who you want to get on the show. These are the type of customers. I'm going to go get people like that who are generally interested, and show you that there are people like this who are interested in coming on sales podcasts and are willing to invest money like this. Yep. At that point, then you're like, you gave me some proof there. And it's like, the last thing I want to do is give you the $3,000 and then you end up in Mexico, and then here I am. I'm like,
that's right.
Where's my, or you send me a guest and this person is like, grandma talking about knitting. And it's like, yeah, she's giving $5,000, but it's not necessarily within my community networking. They don't care about knitting. They want to hear about making money as a B2B seller. So that's right. But yeah, giving them what they want. So let's talk about that, because I think that's where the B2B seller who's listening to this and she's thinking like, dang, Cody's hitting on some good stuff here with this, but she's thinking, well, how do I figure out what my buyers want? How do I figure out what's the burning desires for those people? Because I think that part sounds, we kind of gloss over that sometimes, and I tend to say it, but how do I dig and figure that out? Any strategy?
So talking to your clients is, there's your standard ones that are always going to be there. Security is a big one, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. A man's not going to rest until he finds security. So security is always a big one. So in creating sort of outreach content, it's like, you can use language like, have you ever wondered how you're going to make your payroll on Friday? What would it be like to never have to wonder about making your payroll next Friday ever again? Stuff like that is really good. Those are some general ones that you can use. More specifically, it's standard market research, really. So a great place to start, if you're not 100% familiar with your niche or whatever, is go to Reddit, go to Quora, go to the question sites and start looking in the Reddits and the forum posts and stuff like that. What questions are people asking? So let me give you an example of this. This is quite funny, actually. It's like I wrote a sales letter one time for a dating site. Oh yeah. It was directed at women. A dating site hired me to write a sales letter for them. So I went to a bunch of forums and stuff like that and started looking at the questions women were asking. And I wrote this sales letter based on the questions from the forum. And I had my wife proofread it. She's like, you cannot tell me ever again you don't understand women. I'm like, I don't. I just copy and pasted it. I'm like, I promise you, I don't understand women. I don't have a clue what's going on in their mind.
But it's amazing though, right? You're taking what people already are saying and just using that. Like, it's not rocket science anymore, right?
Yeah, because like I didn't. You don't have to present the answer. You just have to ask the question. So fundamental fact is whoever, in a prospect's mind, whoever presents the problem most articulately, they're going to believe that person has the best solution. So by going to forums and grabbing questions that women are asking, the sales letter is just like, hey, have you ever experienced this? Have you ever experienced this? Have you ever experienced this? I'm just asking the question, hey, have you ever experienced loneliness? Have you ever experienced frustration with male communication? Have you ever experienced whatever? I didn't offer any kind of solution. I'm just asking the question. They then just assume that the solution is held on that buy it now button.
That is awesome, man. Yeah.
Yes. So understand the questions that people are asking, and you can get those from forums, stuff like that.
No, and I think it's great. And going back to that formula you shared, we're going to put that in a show note so people can see it at the very beginning. You kind of, if you don't mind restating it one more time, it was what the prospect wants.
If I could produce your most desired outcome in X amount of time with no risk, would you be interested?
Boom, magic. So every sales
if I could show you how to find your soulmate in the next 6 months, 100% guaranteed, would you be interested?
If I could show you a way to get your sales team to hit quota over the next 90 days without any, or whatever that time.
Look. Put it this way. This is the litmus test, right? I call it the so what question. With your opening statement, with your headline, with your message, can the question be answered? So what? If the answer is yes, it can be answered with so what. It's a terrible outreach message. So it's like, Cody Butler, marketing expert.
So what?
Right? Yeah, terrible message. I've got Cody Butler here today. Would you like him to show you how to grow your business?
Yeah.
That's a yes or no, right? So it's like the number one thing we want to hear as salespeople is yes. The second thing we want to hear is no.
Yeah.
We don't want people in that so what indifferent category. So if your outreach message can be answered so what, it can be glossed over and ignored by the mind. If it cannot be answered, so what? If it requires an answer, a yes or a no, then the human mind has to engage with that message, positively or negatively. The mind has no choice but to engage with it. So would you like me to make some recommendations for your podcast? It's like your mind has to engage with that. You can't just go even quietly, subconsciously, or silently in your mind. You have to go, yes, I do, or no, I don't. Yeah. You have to answer that question.
Yeah. Shoot, man, I love this, man. It is so simple. It is so powerful, and and I just think it's just so overlooked. Why do you think that people feel that their sales emails have to be long, or a sales outreach message have to be long? Why is that the case? Where did that come from?
Well, because I think no experience to start with. There's very few people actually that understand sales. I mean, if you look at the number of people that are actually great at sales, any organization, 1 or 2 or 3% of the salespeople are producing probably 90% plus of the revenue, right?
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. You've got a handful of producers producing the vast majority of the revenue. So the people that actually understand sales is very few and far between. There are not very many people that do it. The second reason is it's counterintuitive. Sales is very counterintuitive. If it was intuitive, everybody would be doing great.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, I teach sales to my students, and they just won't test it because they go, oh, this is not going to work. I'm like, please just test it. Please just send it out. Please just send it out, for goodness sake. And they're like, oh, and you finally get them to send it back, and they come back and go, it worked. I'm like, but there's a lot of stuff out there. People have got to sell you stuff, right? And it's like, generally speaking, the more complicated it is, the more value people perceive that it has, when actually it's like the value is in the simplicity.
Yeah.
If I give you a 1-sentence email that gets you the result, that's infinitely more valuable than the big, long,
all day, every
complex.
Day.
Yeah. And look, a great test as well is, I've got a swipe file. It's like if something gets my attention, like, I buy services from cold email. People that reach out to me on Facebook or whatever, and I buy services. Like I respond to ads online, and I buy stuff. And it's like whenever I buy something or whatever I respond, I just take a screen capture. I'm like, I responded to that, so I know it works.
Yeah. And it's just like a good, it's like you doing your research. It's like you doing the thing that is um,
Yeah.
the thing that will help if it works for you, more than likely it's going to work for the prospect. And obviously we know everybody is different, but again, those basic needs. And I think that's where the key fundamentals all come back down to.
Yeah.
Cody, if there's one major piece of advice you want to give people who are listening to this episode, sales reps or entrepreneurs, business owners that are thinking about doing outreach, they have to do outreach, they want to do outreach, what's that one major piece of advice based on everything that you said so far?
It's keep it simple. Keep it simple. Benefit driven. Keep it simple. One or two sentences max in that first outreach. And it's like, it's funny. You've got the sales evangelist T-shirt on. I mean, I'm a sales agnostic. It's like I'm not set on it. Like, I've sat here for the last 20, 30 minutes, whatever, and I've shared with you my view on sales. But if you took me off to the side and said, Cody, there's a better way, it's like I would throw everything out. If you could show me there's a better way, it's like I would throw everything out. So it's like be agnostic in your views. Don't hang on to something. It's like let the market decide what works. Don't decide I'll write a sales letter or something, and my wife goes, "Are you happy with that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, "I'll let the market decide."
Yeah.
I don't decide if it's good. I don't decide if the message is going to work. I don't decide. I simply create something. I follow the rules. Keep it simple. I put it out there, and I let the market decide if it's good or not. I don't make those decisions myself. So that would be the one thing. Let the market decide if what you're doing works, and if the market says it doesn't work, just change direction. That's it.
Boom. Love it, man. Listen, I want to talk about your book as well. You have a book, and I feel that many people could benefit from it. Do you mind speaking for a minute about that? If that's okay.
I'd love to. Thank you. No, I don't want to talk about my book. Not today. Yeah, and it's called the 90-Day Marketing Plan, and it's really laying out a lot of the fundamentals that we've been talking about. So the first chapter, for example, is it's a reactivation campaign, and it's giving you email scripts to where you can reach out to people that you've reached out to in the past and reactivate those. Basically, it's like anybody that's come into your universe is a potential prospect. They want what it is that you're offering. That there's just been some miscommunication, some reason why that didn't quite happen. So we've got a bunch of scripts in there starting out that will help you re-engage those people. And if you've got LinkedIn connections, if you've got emails, if you've got a shoebox full of business cards, it doesn't matter. It's like you're going to make some money if you've got that, because we can help you re-engage those. And then it's about putting a plan in place over the next 90 days. It's really going to help you with getting some clarity, some focus on your messaging, getting some effective outreach. And the big part of sales too is it's not just outreach, it's follow-up.
Yeah.
That's major. Getting somebody's attention is just step one. Getting them across the line, that requires an awful lot of follow-up. So putting an effective follow-up solution in place that's going to allow you to do consistently what you're not going to do yourself, basically, it's through marketing automation. And at the end of the day, the end of the 90 days, you're going to have a marketing plan and a marketing solution that's going to allow you to generate leads effectively, communicate effectively with those leads, and nurture them through the process to where they're actually ready to make a buying decision or move forward with you.
Love it, Cody. We're going to put this on our show notes. If you're watching this here on TSE TV on YouTube, just go down in the comments and the summary area. You see the link that we'll put there. But Cody, if folks want to get in touch with you, want to get connected with you, want to check out the book, where should we send them?
Yeah, CodyButler.com. You can search me. I'm on Facebook. I'm quite easy to find, actually. So the book's available. You can get it off my website, CodyButler.com. It's also available on Amazon. Like I say, connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn. Happy to get social with anybody, really. Yeah.
Cody, man, we appreciate you taking the time to come on the show today. Appreciate you connecting with us and sharing so much wisdom. And we're going to go out and try that one sentence sales outreach message now. So thanks, man.
It works. It works like a dream. You'll never do anything ever again.
Converted. Awesome, man. Thanks again for your time.
Thanks, Don. Bless you.
Boom. All right. So here's the other thing that I'm going to ask you. If you don't mind, Are there any other, what we want to do is give a piece of bonus content.
Yeah.
Is there maybe like your top three any tips on creating a subject line that just grabs people's attention now that we're creating that one message, one sentence sales message there? Are there any tips you can give us, maybe like three tips creating an effective subject line, and we could do that in like 2 minutes or so, 2 to 3 minutes? Would
Yeah.
that be fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so by all means just jump in and share that, and I'll put that into a bonus content.
So we'll talk about
Subject
how to
line.
create a
Yeah, effective subject line that gets them to open your email now for that one sentence message.
Okay, so obviously, Don, the key with email outreach is you've got to get the email opened, right? It doesn't matter how effective your message is. If that email does not get opened or it goes into the spam folder, you got problems. It doesn't matter how well crafted that message is. So let me share with you a couple of tips that are going to keep your message, A, out of the spam box, and B, is going to get that message open. So you've got two real friends when it comes to getting the email open, and that is curiosity and personalization.
Mm.
So a lot of times the big mistake that people make is they give all the information away in the headline. So generate leads for your social media site. It screams sales, right? So you want the subject line to be completely sales neutral, to not be salesy at all. So a great subject line, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend using at this point for reasons I'll talk about, is quick question. So quick question has to be engaged with. It's like the white envelope with a stamp on it with direct mail. If you get a white envelope with a handwritten address and a stamp on it with no return address on it, it's mandatory that you open it. You can't not open that, right? So you have to. Yeah. If you get an envelope with an insurance company's name and address on it, probably just goes straight in the bin. So
rubbish.
People open their mail like this. They have their trash can here. And they get a stack of mail. Trash, good. Trash, good. And most of it just goes straight. Email is exactly the same. So you want to get that curiosity headline that is going to get the email open. So it could be like, final notice, Don. Something like that. Quick question. Again, it's like we talked about. You can't say so what to quick question.
Yeah.
You can't. So coming up with those, some of the subject lines I like is question for you, have we met is a good one. And then it's, you just open them. It's like, hey, we haven't met yet, but I saw you on LinkedIn. So it kind of ties it in, stuff like that. So, and personalization as well. So put in the person's name in there or put in the person's business name in there, but doing it in a way that it doesn't seem like you've just inserted it from a,
merge tag.
A merge tag, yeah. So that's the first thing. The second thing with that, it's going to keep you out of the spam folder. So if you've got a subject line that is used a lot, like quick question, for example, if that subject line has been marked spam by a lot of other people, you're going to get in the spam folder just because that subject line has been identified as spam.
Yeah.
So the same with the content of your messages as well. If you've just gone online and you found some message and you've copy and pasted it because someone told you it worked, you're probably going to end up in the spam folder, because if you could find it online, so can everybody else. So you want to be personalizing that message. Like what really works is once you get the email open, is personalization of that message, and it's really true personalization. So it would be like, hey Don, I saw episode 27 of your show with Cody Butler on, and I loved what he was saying about X, which ties into my next part, right? So you're going to read that and you're going to go, this person really actually is trying to reach out to me legitimately.
Yeah.
And the third top tip is, if you're sending out cold email, obviously you've got to have an unsubscribe button. Unsubscribe is a spam filter. Change it to stop receiving these emails or don't email me again.
Dude, all right.
That unsubscribe link will get you in the spam box, because obviously an email that's going to somebody that's never received an email from your address before with unsubscribe on it is a red flag. So change that unsubscribe text to please don't email me again or something like that.
Bro, so smart, so simple. Well, we love this, man. Well, all these advice, I appreciate you. Thank you. I know the episode ended, but I'm going to use these as some bonus thing to get them to come back and connect more with Cody. So
thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you for your wisdom. Listen, that was some good stuff from Cody, and I would highly recommend that you go and connect with him. If you're watching this on TSE TV here on YouTube, just scroll down. You could click on the link and take you back to his website. You can check out the book and also get connected with him on LinkedIn. If you are going somewhere else and you're doing something else, you can just go ahead and type Cody Butler. You can find him on LinkedIn, and you'll see the 90-day marketing plan pop up and some of the great things that he's doing. He's a mentor to small and mid-sized business owners, so he knows the struggles, he knows the challenges, and he can help you. Highly recommend that. And another thing, I highly recommend. You know it. You got to check out Pipedrive, man. If you haven't done so already, don't work harder than you need to. Have Pipedrive help you 24 hours a day. It can do some of those things that you don't need to do. You can focus on closing a deal. That's where the money's at. Check out Pipedrive. They'll give you an extended trial, which will be a 30-day trial as opposed to 14-day, and they'll give you 25% off the first 3 months. Can't beat that. Also, I want you to go ahead and check out Wingman. Wingman. Listen, man, that stuff is awesome, and I love doing these ads for them because it's a tool that I love. I use. My team benefits from it, and I know you and your team will benefit from it as well. Because here's the cool part about it: it literally, like any other things that we have in our day today, it's able to think for you and give you help. I mean, Wingman, if you're of a sales rep that's having a call and to get an objection, don't know how to handle it, Wingman can pop up and give them a notification what that needs to be. They can tell them if they're talking too much. It's amazing. So check out Wingman. Just go to trywingman.com. Again, trywingman.com. As always, I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching.
Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up in the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.